Miami police are investigating an incident involving boxer Floyd Mayweather. Police tell CBS 4 they're investigating an incident where a high-profile celebrity was at the Siebold building.
Imagine a world where legends fall and icons crumble beneath the weight of their own empire. In a stunning twist of fate that no one could foresee, both Floyd Mayweather Jr. and his illustrious father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., have been sentenced for tax evasion. This sensational news sends shockwaves through the world of boxing and finance alike, shattering a legacy built on invincibility and brilliance. The once unstoppable champions now face the harsh reality of law and accountability, marking an unforgettable turning point in their storied lives. Brace yourself for an epic journey through scandal, intrigue, and personal transformation now. The saga of the Mayweather dynasty, once the embodiment of success and glamour, has taken an unimaginable turn. For decades, Floyd Mayweather Jr. ruled the boxing ring with a dazzling record and an untouchable persona that both inspired admiration and instilled fear in his opponents. Alongside him, his father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., played an integral role in crafting an image that combined larger-than-life bravado with relentless ambition. Their names became synonymous with not only boxing excellence but also with a lifestyle marked by ostentatious displays of wealth and a business acumen that many believed was as invincible as the fighters themselves. However, recent events have disrupted this narrative. Allegations of tax evasion, once whispered about in hushed tones among financial insiders, have now materialized into a full-blown legal assault that left little room for denial. The meticulously constructed image of financial brilliance has crumbled under the relentless scrutiny of federal investigators who uncovered a trail of dubious financial practices hidden behind layers of corporate maneuvering and carefully orchestrated public relations stunts. Investigators' diligence left no stone unturned as they pieced together a mosaic of financial records that revealed startling discrepancies. Routine audits that initially raised benign questions soon escalated into an intricate investigation involving encrypted communications, secret bank accounts, and carefully concealed transactions. The probing eyes of law enforcement uncovered evidence that suggested a deliberate attempt to sidestep tax obligations, a strategy that, while not uncommon in the world of high finance, was executed on an unprecedented scale by two of the most recognized figures in sports history. The complexity of the case was magnified by the intertwining of legitimate business ventures and questionable financial maneuvers, making it a challenge for even the most seasoned financial detectives. The courtroom became the stage for a drama that pitted the accumulated might of federal authorities against the carefully guarded secrets of the Mayweather empire. As evidence mounted, testimonies emerged that offered glimpses of late-night strategy sessions where financial risks were calculated with the same precision that once guided punches in the ring. In several revealing moments during the trial, Floyd Mayweather Jr. provided personal commentary that resonated deeply with audiences worldwide. In a rare, unfiltered moment of candor, he admitted, "I built my life on the roar of the crowd and the thrill of victory, but I have also had to pay a price for every decision I made." His voice, usually commanding and unapologetic inside the ring, now carried a mix of vulnerability and resolve as he acknowledged
to compete with that. So he's pretty big on those scales as far as on the celebrity scale. So he's gonna realize what life is all about and what friends are all about, and realize that we only have a few of them. And sometimes they're the only ones we got. They may not
that his once untouchable image was now irrevocably tarnished by financial missteps. Such admissions, interwoven with defiant remarks that hinted at both regret and a desire to start anew, painted the picture of a man who was coming to grips with the fact that even the mightiest can fall. The personal toll was evident not only in his choice of words, but also in the subtle shift in the posture he adopted during interviews, a posture that conveyed the weight of hindsight and the realization that the era of unchecked bravado was over. This reflective tone captivated viewers, sparking conversations about the price of fame and the inevitable moment when public adulation gives way to the cold light of accountability. The repercussions of the sentencing were not confined solely to the legal arena. They reverberated throughout the entire cultural landscape. For years, the Mayweather brand had stood as a symbol of triumph over adversity, of a fighter whose success in the ring was mirrored by his clever navigation of the business world. Fans from every corner of the globe had cheered as he defied the odds, each victory reinforcing the myth of an indomitable spirit capable of transcending mortal limitations. Yet, as the court's verdict was delivered, that myth was brutally deconstructed. Social media platforms, once awash with celebration and reverence for his unmatched achievements, now found themselves overflowing with reflections on the deeper implications of his downfall. Commentators and analysts began to draw parallels between the challenges faced by sports celebrities and those encountered by corporate magnates, suggesting that the lessons of financial responsibility and the importance of ethical practices extended far beyond the confines of the boxing world. Within the courtroom drama, every piece of evidence was meticulously dissected to reveal the nuances of a financial empire built on both brilliance and deception. Expert witnesses detailed how sophisticated financial instruments, designed to obscure the true flow of money, had been utilized to create an illusion of prosperity. The testimony of forensic accountants and digital analysts added layers of complexity to the narrative, exposing how intertwined legitimate business operations were with offshore accounts and shadow entities. These revelations not only undermined the public's long-held perception of the Mayweather legacy, but also ignited a broader debate about accountability in modern finance. Was the pursuit of glamour and wealth worth the cost of bypassing rules designed to ensure fairness and transparency? The questions resonated with an audience that had grown increasingly skeptical of the glossy images propagated by celebrities and business tycoons alike. In this light, the sentencing of both Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Sr. transcended personal tragedy, emerging as a watershed moment that challenged the very foundations of how financial success was measured and celebrated in contemporary society. For many observers, the collapse of the Mayweather financial empire served as a cautionary tale, highlighting the perils of living in a world where image often supersedes substance. The mesmerizing narratives of victory and invincibility that once captivated millions were now in stark contrast with the grim realities of tax evasion and fiscal irresponsibility. In interviews conducted in the wake of the sentencing, financial experts stressed that the repercussions of
a guy like him. The question is, why would he, or anybody for that matter, be interested in buying all of these affordable housing units all at once? Well, for one, some of this portfolio is reported to offer a tax exemption due to the fact that the majority of the units are designated as affordable housing. For two, Mayweather shared that this deal holds some emotional significance for him and his family. He did grow up with a family of 7 crammed into a 1-bedroom apartment in New Jersey. So I suppose the idea of owning a bunch of affordable housing units in New York is one way for Floyd to feel like he's kind of giving back to the community. If I had to guess, Floyd probably put up somewhere around $100 million of his own cash into this deal, which means he financed the remaining $300 million. With where interest rates are at nowadays, though, I'm thinking he's probably only making like 10% on his money at best, which means that he's going to be bringing somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 million.
such actions were far-reaching. They argued that when respected figures in the public eye are implicated in schemes to dodge tax obligations, it sends a dangerous message that the rules of the game can be bent or broken for the sake of maintaining a glamorous facade. Such discussions prompted calls for tighter regulatory oversight and a re-evaluation of the tax structures that allowed for such vulnerabilities to be exploited in the first place. The debate quickly evolved into a broader societal discourse, one in which the responsibilities of celebrities were weighed against the responsibilities of the institutions that governed financial conduct. Amid the whirlwind of legal proceedings and financial revelations, personal accounts of those who had been close to the Mayweather circle added a humanizing dimension to the unfolding drama. Longtime associates and former trainers recalled memories of the days when the family was united by a single, unyielding drive to succeed at any cost. They painted a portrait of a tightly knit group whose fortunes were as dramatically interwoven as the punches thrown in the heat of a championship bout. In quiet moments away from the relentless glare of cameras, some insiders admitted that there had been unease about the path they were on, a path marked by a relentless pursuit of success that often blurred the line between ambition and recklessness. "We all believed in the dream," one former aide confided, "but at some point, the dream began to demand sacrifices that we couldn't fully comprehend. The very traits that propelled us to the top became the seeds of our downfall." These poignant reflections served as a reminder that behind every headline and every sensational verdict lay the collective story of individuals whose lives were forever altered.
And running, and it's just going straight up. Interest and penalty. As we speak, another day just passed, another interest penalty. And I don't get Floyd because he's so out there with it, as you say, on Instagram. So it's not like he's trying to hide his opulence. He is throwing it out for all to see with all those cars and all the it's outrageous, and he's earned it, and he did it the right way and the hard way. You know, he beat the system. So I give it to him. But how can a man that smart be this? This is outrageously wrongly dumb to challenge these people.
Skip, you can't win. I tell you what, you remember they could not get the gangster in Chicago, Al Capone. They couldn't get him for all those murders. They couldn't get him for all that embezzlement. What did they get him on, Skip?
Tax evasion.
Tax evasion. Skip, they know what you make. And even if you say, well,
by the choices they made in pursuit of greatness, at the heart of this unfolding narrative was the enduring question of redemption. For years, the Mayweather name had been associated with an almost mythical degree of invincibility, a quality that seemed to defy conventional expectations. Yet, as the court rendered its decision, that myth was shattered, revealing the stark truth that no one, regardless of their past achievements, could escape the consequences of their actions. In the wake of the verdict, both Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Sr. found themselves navigating a rapidly shifting landscape of public opinion and personal introspection. In subsequent interviews, they reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point, acknowledging that the price of excellence was often measured in both triumph and sacrifice. Every champion must eventually confront his own imperfections, Floyd Mayweather Jr. remarked, his voice tinged with both sorrow and a determined resolve. It is in these moments of reckoning that we have the opportunity to rebuild, to redefine who we truly are. Such statements, delivered with a mixture of introspection and defiant optimism, hinted at the possibility of transformation, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. The impact of the sentencing rippled outward, provoking reactions that extended well beyond the confines of the sports world. In coffee shops, at family dinners, and across countless social media threads, discussions erupted about the nature of success in modern society and the pitfalls inherent in the relentless pursuit of celebrity. For some, the downfall of the Mayweather empire was a long overdue correction, a necessary reminder that behind
the next year and the next year and the next thing you know, the bill is so big, you either have to sell everything to make good or they come and get everything. Now, you remember when Red Fox, he told a story that he was in trouble with the IRS. They took everything, even the Mickey Mouse watch on his wrist. That's how they do you, Skip. Skip, I had to pay a debt, Skip. It cost them more to send me the postage and the return letter that I was going to put that 37-cent and that $2 check in, but they wanted their paper. You know, Leona Helmsley, the great heiress and real estate lady, she said only poor people pay taxes. They said, bull jive, we finna take your rich ass to jail. And she had to go to jail for some time. Skip, these people don't play.
They do not.
They won't. I don't care if it's 37 cents, I had to pay one of those. If it's $2, I had to pay one of those. Skip, I'm sending them their money. And you know what? When all else, I'm gonna err on the side of overpaying them.
in the glittering veneer of fame lay a world of hard choices and inevitable consequences. For others, it was a somber moment of reflection on how the pressures of maintaining a public image could lead even the most successful individuals to stray from the path of integrity. In a climate where trust in institutions was steadily waning, the case became emblematic of the challenges faced by societies that revered wealth and power, while simultaneously demanding accountability and transparency. It was a complex dialogue, marked by both criticism and compassion, as people struggled to reconcile the brilliance of past glories with the harsh lessons of recent events. In the midst of media storms and legal battles, The personal lives of both Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Sr. began to mirror the tumult that had engulfed their public personas. The strain of constant scrutiny and the relentless pressure to uphold an image of perfection manifested in moments of private despair and introspection. Friends close to the family recounted instances when the fighters would retreat from the world, seeking solace in silence as they grappled with the weight of their legacy. There were evenings, whispered about in hushed tones, when the grandeur of their past accomplishments was overshadowed by a deeply human sense of regret and uncertainty about the future. You realize, one confidant recalled, that no matter how high you rise, you are not immune to the simple truths of life. The applause fades, and eventually, you are left alone with your choices. These private reflections added a layer of poignancy to the public spectacle, underscoring that the downfall of even the most celebrated figures is an experience that cuts to the core of human frailty.
Taking no blows. And I'm supposed to send them, yep, you're supposed to send them their cut. That's the way it works. And what
You owe them about half of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he's in Nevada, so which is no state tax. So basically, all you have to do is give them their 33%.
Yeah.
Skip, I get it, and I get the fact like all they're gonna do is waste my money anyway, but that's not the way you do it.
That is not allowed.
We saw other greats. Joe Louis had this problem.
He did.
Sugar Ray Robinson had to come out of retirement in '55 to settle a debt with the IRS, and even Mike Tyson. But what's so disappointing with me, Skip? Floyd Mayweather has gone through this before. What is it that you don't get? And I'm even more disappointed because you're on Instagram and on Twitter flaunting your opulence.
As the dust began to settle after the historic sentencing, analysts and cultural critics rushed to interpret the broader implications of the case. The intersection of celebrity culture, financial ambition, and legal accountability became a hotbed of debate in academic circles and media outlets alike. Commentators explored how the case of the Mayweather dynasty encapsulated the contradictions of modern success, a world where the pursuit of personal legacy, often enshrined in flashy displays of wealth and unyielding confidence, could come crashing down under the weight of fiscal responsibility. In televised panels and printed editorials, experts argued that the verdict was less about criminal malfeasance and more about a societal reckoning where the myths of invincibility were stripped away to reveal the inevitable vulnerabilities that lie beneath. This is a lesson for all of us, one prominent analyst declared on live television. It is a reminder that behind every dazzling success is a foundation that must be built on truth and accountability. Such sentiments resonated deeply with an audience eager to make sense of a world in which the lines between glamour and reality had become ever more blurred. For the millions who had once looked up to the Mayweather family as paragons of triumph and determination, the sentencing was a moment of profound disillusionment. Yet even as anger and disappointment swirled in equal measure, there was an undercurrent of empathy, a recognition that the journey of life is fraught with challenges that no amount of glory can shield one from. In late-night interviews and reflective social media posts, former fans expressed a complex mix of admiration and sorrow, acknowledging that the pressure
beat on an NFT project or I'm not getting paid. What about that aura? Dior, Fendi, Prada, which one of those things made you feel like, yo, he's gonna write the check? The dude
fucking contract.
Nah, he don't give
a
a shit about
legal
that.
contract.
He don't care about that
You
shit.
don't care.
He got
That's
Fendi to buy.
news to me.
He got to go shopping.
So, question: what happens now? Do you guys get more than what you were supposed to get? Because that's kind of cool.
Less. That's the worst.
You get
part.
less?
Yeah.
Tell you who makes it out of this with a W.
Your lawyers.
Yeah.
And guess what?
The legal system
he owns
is
30% of their company.
the legal system's tough. Yeah.
to maintain a flawless image could ultimately lead to fatal cracks in even the sturdiest of facades. It's a tragedy, really, one longtime supporter lamented. We celebrated their victories and marveled at their confidence, never imagining that the same spirit would one day falter beneath the relentless demands of life. These heartfelt exchanges captured the essence of a story that was no longer just about tax evasion or legal technicalities. It was about the human condition, about the inevitable collision between our dreams and our realities. Even as the legal gavel struck down on the Mayweather legacy, the implications of the case continued to evolve with every passing day. Former associates and business partners began to reassess their own practices, spurred by the realization that the glittering veneer of celebrity success was often built on equally fragile foundations. In boardrooms and quiet offices across the nation, discussions turned to strategies for ensuring that future endeavors would not fall prey to the same pitfalls. The case ignited a renewed focus on financial literacy and the need for robust internal controls in any venture where the stakes were high. There was a collective determination to learn from the past, to build systems that not only celebrated success but also maintained the integrity of the processes that underpinned that achievement. The fallout from the Mayweather case, it seemed, would have a lasting impact far beyond the confines of the courtroom, setting a precedent for how even the most revered figures must be held accountable in a modern society that prizes both excellence and transparency. Within the personal realm of the Mayweather family, the sentencing ushered in a period of intense introspection and recalibration. Friends, family, and former champions.
I actually find nothing wrong with that. It's smart. And so with this particular lawsuit, he had an investor pay $1.4 million in total for this section, and the investor was promised that the seats would sell at I think a 7 to 8x multiple, and he expected a return on his investment, and sure enough, he didn't get his initial investment back. He's strung along. He gets like $100K here and there, strung along, not getting paid. Now his investment allegedly is being rolled into Floyd's alleged fight with Manny Pacquiao, and so the investors being strung along on this thing, and eventually, like us, it's like, yo, we're simply not getting paid in full. Like, we've been fucking dragged along for way too long now, and this guy finally filed a lawsuit against Floyd Mayweather. So that's the one that's actually active and pending, and then here we are.
There's another one pending too.
Another one?
Yeah.
For the cash deal?
Recounted memories of days when the roar of the crowd seemed to drown out any hint of vulnerability, when the focus was solely on the thrill of victory. Now, as the public eye turned unflinchingly toward their missteps, those same individuals found themselves grappling with the profound implications of a legacy that had been built on both triumph and transgression. In quiet, heartfelt conversations, some admitted that the relentless pursuit of perfection had left them isolated in ways they had never fully recognized. We lived in a world where every punch thrown was a testament to our strength, but the real battles were fought in silence. Floyd Mayweather Jr. reflected in one emotional interview. His admission struck a chord among viewers, bridging the gap between a life lived in the limelight and the intimate struggles that remain hidden from public view. As the story of tax evasion and the subsequent sentencing wove its way into the fabric of modern legend, it served as a stark reminder that even the most exalted empires can crumble under the weight of their own ambition. The meticulous planning, the grand displays of wealth, and the fierce determination that had once seemed to promise eternal success were now overshadowed by the cold realities of legal and moral accountability. In a society that had long revered the pursuit of greatness at any cost, the case challenged conventional wisdom, suggesting that true legacy is measured not just by victories in the arena, but also by the character and integrity that guide each decision along the way. The enduring question that began to emerge was simple, yet profound. Can there be redemption after such a fall? And if so, what path must be taken to reclaim not only the public's respect, but
I'm at the top. When you're talking about landing on the highest percentage, I'm at the top. And when you're talking about making the most money, we ain't got to talk about that. We already know who at the top. So is it jealousy? Absolutely. All around the board. Because if any legendary champion, or if Oscar De La Hoya was in this position right now, and he was in a position to fight McGregor, if any and make a fortune, he would do it. But it's only one problem. He don't have the swag of a Floyd Mayweather.
Also one's own inner peace. In the aftermath of the landmark sentencing, cultural conversations began to shift from shock and dismay to introspection and hope, while many mourned the loss of an era when the Mayweather name was synonymous with untouchable success. Others found solace in the possibility that this moment of reckoning might lead to a renaissance of personal growth and responsible leadership. Across television studios, radio broadcasts, and digital forums, voices emerged urging not only caution, but also understanding. They highlighted that mistakes, however catastrophic, carried with them the seeds of future transformation. This is not merely an ending, one commentator observed during a thoughtful roundtable discussion. It is the opening of a new chapter where we must learn to balance ambition with accountability and bravado with humility. Such reflections invited a collective re-examination of the values that underpinned modern success, urging both public figures and ordinary citizens to forge a path that was as ethical as it was extraordinary. In private moments, the echoes of past glories mingled with the somber tones of regret and determination within the hearts of both Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Sr. The sentencing had stripped away the layers of celebrity that had long shielded them from the consequences of their actions, leaving behind only the raw, unvarnished truth of human imperfection. Their voices, once filled with the confident cadence of unchallenged champions, now carried the weight of introspection. "I once believed that nothing could break me," Floyd Mayweather Sr. acknowledged in a reflective interview. "But today, I see that even the greatest among us must confront the reality."
Mayweather didn't broke every record in boxing. When we get to talk about highest gate, even when they was like right now, they saying, "Oh, Mayweather fight didn't sell out." Well, you know, when they do sell out, I think I'll reach somewhere like, you know, the live gate, it reached like 80-something million for this fight. We already had 60-something million. For those that saying that Mayweather is not doing numbers anymore. As far as taking less punishment, I took less punishment.
Of our choices. His words resonated deeply with fans who had admired him for his resilience, reminding them that vulnerability is not a weakness, but an essential component of true strength. In those quiet admissions lay the promise of a journey not toward total erasure, but toward a redefined legacy built on lessons learned the hard way. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the nation watched as the ripple effects of the Mayweather case continued to spread. Educational institutions, inspired by the saga, began to incorporate discussions of financial ethics and personal accountability into their curricula. Business schools used the case as a cautionary tale, urging future leaders to build their empires on foundations that were as transparent as they were. Robust public forums, community centers, and even casual dinner table conversations became venues for debate on how society should celebrate achievement without turning a blind eye to responsibility. The discourse that emerged was not one of judgment alone, but of collective learning and eventual healing, a recognition that the true measure of success lies in the ability to rise after falling, to learn after erring, and to rebuild after a legacy has been tarnished by missteps. In the final analysis, the story of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Floyd Mayweather Sr. is one that resonates on multiple levels. It is a narrative of extraordinary highs and devastating lows, a tale that spans the exhilarating peaks of sporting greatness to the humbling valleys of legal accountability and personal introspection. Their journey, once marked by unyielding ambition and a seemingly boundless appetite for success, has now become a mirror reflecting.
It's about controlling the chessboard, and you know that's what I was able to do.
How did Floyd Money Mayweather control the chessboard with this particular fight?
Well, easy. You know, I knew what to say. You know, I knew when to say it. I knew what to post on social media, and I know, you know, some cool people, some cool places to make certain calls, to make this big event happen.
Did you want this fight?
The broader challenges of an era defined by both unparalleled opportunity and equally unprecedented scrutiny. As the nation absorbs the full magnitude of what has transpired, the legacy of the Mayweather name is being rewritten in real time, a chronicle that underscores the timeless truth that no matter how grand the stage or how dazzling the spotlight, the essence of our humanity remains our greatest achievement. This unfolding drama, laden with legal intricacies and personal revelations, serves as both an admonition and an inspiration. It is a reminder that behind the veneer of celebrity and the allure of wealth, there lies a commitment to accountability and an opportunity for redemption. The triumphs of the past, while formidable, are forever subject to the enduring laws of fairness and truth. And as the world contemplates the fall of two once invincible figures, it does so with the hope that every ending brings with it the promise of a new beginning, a chance to rebuild on the ruins of old errors and to forge a legacy that honors both strength and responsibility. Now, as the final chapters of this saga are written in the annals of sporting history, the words "goodbye forever" echo not only as a farewell to the unblemished images once held dear, but also as a call to embrace the lessons that emerge from even the most dramatic of downfalls. Kiwi. Story of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Floyd Mayweather Sr. is not simply about tax evasion or legal missteps. It is a cautionary, emotionally charged odyssey that challenges us all to look beyond superficial triumphs and to seek authenticity in every facet of life. In this dramatic...
My only point. He's phenomenal, and he's great, and he's unblemished in his career. And when you see Floyd Mayweather, when you see him in
dramatic narrative, the fall of the Mayweather empire stands as a testament to the idea that every towering legacy is, at its core, built on the fragile human capacity for error and redemption. As the nation grapples with the implications of this monumental shift, there is a renewed determination among fans, critics, and insiders alike to learn from the past. The vivid memories of glowing victories are now interspersed with reflections on the importance of ethical responsibility, and the once unstoppable champions are remembered not just for their dazzling successes, but for the profound lessons that their journey has imparted. The corridors of power, both in the world of sports and in the high-stakes arena of finance, are now abuzz with the determination to ensure that the mistakes of the past are not repeated. Legal experts and cultural analysts alike have emphasized that the enduring legacy of the Mayweather saga is not the downfall itself, but rather the meaningful dialogue it has sparked about what it truly means to lead a life of excellence. In a society that is increasingly vigilant about the responsibilities that accompany fame and fortune, the case serves as a sobering reminder that the choices made in pursuit of greatness must always be tempered by a commitment to truth, fairness, and accountability. As the story continues to evolve beyond the confines of the courtroom, it is clear that its impact will be felt for generations to come. The sentencing of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Floyd Mayweather Sr. is more than a mere legal outcome. It is a pivotal moment of reckoning that will inspire further introspection among those who once believed that invincibility was...
When you're great, when you're elite, not just anybody deserves to be in your pristine space. And what I mean by that is, I'm not talking about on the street or anything like that. Boxing is your thing. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't see just anybody on the basketball court playing against LeBron James. He won't do it. He doesn't have to. It's a waste of his time. You might see footages of Dwayne...
The given, the unraveling of their financial machinations, the exposure of their personal vulnerabilities, and the dismantling of their carefully constructed myth have all coalesced into a narrative that is as instructive as it is electrifying. In the wake of this transformative event, both men have expressed a quiet resolve to confront their past and, in time, work toward a more honest representation of their true selves. Their words, delivered with a newfound humility and a subtle yet unmistakable acknowledgement of their mistakes, serve as beacons for anyone who has ever been tempted to prioritize image over integrity. There is a time when even the greatest must face the truth, Floyd Mayweather Jr. remarked in a private moment that was later shared with the public. Our legacy will be defined not just by our victories, but by the lessons we learn when the cheers fade away. These poignant reflections capture the essence of a journey that has been as much about personal evolution as it has been about public accountability. The cultural reverberations of this historic sentencing continue to ripple outward, prompting discussions on ethical leadership, fiscal discipline, and the responsibilities that come with immense power. Communities of fans, industry experts, and everyday citizens have come together to reflect on the true cost of unchecked ambition, and many have found solace in the collective realization that even the brightest stars can learn to shine anew when tempered by the wisdom of experience. It is a collective acknowledgement that imperfection is an inherent part of the human condition, and that there is redemption to be found in acknowledging our shortcomings and striving to do better. As the narrative draws to its reflective close, the story
off that Business Insider was doing an investigation. So a member of his team spoke off the record, and they actually tried to modify the story a little bit to get ahead of it. So it went from we own all the buildings with no partners to now their story is changing up a little bit. So they reached out to the Housing Partnership, a spokesperson. Now the Housing Partnership of NYC is a nonprofit group that is a partner in a majority of these like really huge like property deals. And it helps, you know, the person buying it to qualify for tax breaks and grants and preserve the affordability of the portfolio apartments, right? If you're buying, affordable housing, then you're going to go through the NYC Housing Partnership. That never happened, okay? So the spokesperson says the housing partnership has not been advised of any sale, pending sale, or change in ownership. Generally, the partnership will be advised of the transfer and will be party to the transfer. That has not occurred. A person directly...
The story of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Floyd Mayweather Sr. serves as a stirring reminder that every dramatic fall carries within it the seeds of renewal. Their journey, marked by lofty aspirations and tragic missteps, is a microcosm of a broader societal struggle, a struggle to reconcile the dazzling promises of our dreams with the stark realities that ultimately define us. The legacy of the Mayweather name is being reimagined not solely as a tale of lost fortunes and shattered illusions, but as a cautionary chronicle that challenges us to embrace accountability as the cornerstone of enduring greatness. In the final moments of this epic narrative, as the echoes of courtroom deliberations mingle with the hushed conversations of introspective fans, one truth remains resoundingly clear. The fall of legends is not an end but a necessary precursor to a rebirth defined by honesty, reform, and the courage to face the consequences of our actions head-on. Today, the words "goodbye forever" are not merely a farewell to the proud images of a bygone era. They are an invitation to all who witness this saga to begin anew, to forge a future where success is measured by character as much as by acclaim. If you found this deep dive into the extraordinary rise and dramatic fall of an iconic dynasty as riveting and thought-provoking as it is, join our community for more breaking stories, exclusive insights, and the real-life sagas that shape our world. Subscribe to my YouTube channel now and be part of a movement that celebrates truth, inspires change, and stands for accountability in every arena of life.